Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today, as right now we are in the staging mode of our setup going to Chicago. So what you're seeing right here is staging of what we're doing. I've set it all up in my workout room to make sure that it's all working and functional. So I'll be indebted to you if you tell me, hey, guy, it sounds good, the quality of the sound is fine, etc., etc., etc. We're using our wireless system here to work. This is how we're going to interview folks, along with the second one that we pin on them. All that stuff all being set up to work. But anyhow, let's get busy and saluting my people. Welcome aboard. AVQ is in the house. El Señor AVQ, Michael Rudnin in the house as well. We have Bridge MCP. And of course, without any further ado, we also have Eric Hayes and AC Rodriguez. How are you doing, AC Rodriguez? And let's see what else we got. We got Yvette Avery Herod. Buenas tardes, she says to the PDR posse. Welcome aboard, Yvette. And the one and only E2247, he says, Bosho. Hello, relatives. I'm grateful to see you expressing good health. Please keep hoping that we all maintain our good health. Great news, I guess, or depending on what you think, the beginning of World War III, I don't know, but Turkey decided to accept Norway into NATO. Therefore, they will be part of NATO shortly. Maywood just joined us from California. ¿Cómo estás, Maywood? Who else have we got here? Wait, no, I'm not in PA. I'm not in PA. Did I put somewhere in PA there? I am going to be in Chicago en 2 días. I am going to be in Chicago in 2 días. But what I'm doing right now is, like I said, I'm in the game room staging what we're doing here. The lighting isn't good because I don't have all the LEDs set up or anything like that yet. But, you know, we're trying to get things working the way they need to be worked. And if you notice that, I just took that off the screen. So this is a full panel of our Politics Done Right banner that will be there for people to sit next to me in the interviews. And of course, let me bring some other stuff over here to show you guys that and by the way, this is all courtesy of all our posse. This is a setup for doing all our remote videos and all that good stuff that you can see there. Whoa, it's just wanting you guys to see what we're going to be doing out there in Chicago when we start running after folks to get particular good kind of interviews, etc. So there you go. Maybe I can put it here as my partner in crime. But that is our remote. We have 2 setups. One where people come and sit down and speak to us. The other one when we go after folks and, go around the studio, or rather go around the conference, etc., and do all the monitoring. So just want to give you guys a flavor of what we're going to be doing out there in Chicago. Anyway, what else have we got here? Let me go ahead and start reading what you guys want me to read, because, again, like I say all the time, this is your show. All right, let's see what we got here. Para ver. It says, Egberto, any chance you saw my DM via FB Messenger? No, I have not, but I guess I better go look for it. Again, I've been getting all this stuff set up, so forgive me. Just give me a notion of what it's about, where to look. I'll go ahead and look for it in a second when I play the first video. Actually, I think it's the first and only video, but I forgot to queue it up. So as we speak here, I probably should be queuing that video up that we're going to be playing today, assuming that it made it over I'm working, since I'm using laptops as a test bed, because that's what we do in Chicago. I am doing two things here at the same time. I'm trying to tie these two computers together to make sure we get everything done. So you guys know exactly what's going on. All right, let's see what else we got here. Para ver, 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 para ver. Free rides to anywhere for inner city, pretty cool. I think that's a good deal, right? I mean, if you people need a ride to work, I haven't read the article, Eric Hayes, but I think, remember what I talked about, things that belong in free enterprise and things that belong in our public realm. I think things like transportation, basic transportation, not if you're on a vacation, but basic transportation, healthcare, certain kinds of care should all be done within our public space. Anyhow, we have here, Egberto Willis might be a wee bit long, but good. Denver Rigman claims he can prove that Hunter Biden's laptop evidence is phony. Former Republican Denver Ringelman hates bullies. Ringelman fights back against bullies using forensics and facts. As one of Hunter Biden's attorneys, Ringelman has been digging deep into the files of the infamous laptop of Hunter Biden for 2 years. He says he now can prove that many of the people who promoted January 6 conspiracy theories, like Steve Bannon and Rudy Giuliani, also had their hands on a lot of stuff in Hunter Biden's laptop. He also claims he can prove it using forensics and facts. There are some things I can't talk about, unlike the grifters. I have to have transparency and verification to stand up in court of law, but I can tell you this, Ringelman continued. What we want to look at first is the data out there purported to be Hunter Biden's laptop, and we wanted to see if there was any forensic format and make sure that there was no forensic validity to it. And Jim, there was none. Jim, if you're looking at 4chan from a site like Marco Polo, you have to have forensic validity. And I am shocked that anybody in Congress would use that data, or any journalist who would use those sources, because of what we found out. We do have the data. We have the ones and zeros. We do have the facts based on the ones and zeros that we have found that is the very same folks. We have videos. We have them self-identifying and manipulating the data. We have people like Steve Bannon using words like editorial creativity, and we have specific instances of fabrication and manipulation of the data. He went on to explain that Congress should know that whatever data in the public domain has no relation to any forensic copy attached to a Hunter Biden laptop, and it looks like to us that most of the data is curated. It's almost like a mixtape of multiple data sources that gone through the hands of 30 to 40 people. There is video of this interview at the site, as that's what Bridge MCP has brought us. Folks, all those people that are pinning themselves on Hunter Biden, by the way, if Hunter was guilty, it didn't really mean a darn thing to me either. And you know why? Because the guy is not in office. So why are we bothering ourselves with this big stuff? It makes absolutely no sense. Yet we do it on and on again, and so many people just hyperventilate on the crap, They want to believe it. They want to believe it. All right, Eric Hayes says, Egberto, why are corporations scared of losing their ESG scores? Look at the Bud Light company of whoever. Wouldn't this be a sign of progress via progressives? I thought that corporations were to cater to customers than shareholders and employees. This would say not. You got to tell me what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyhow, continuing. Let's see what else we got here. Texas info. If you care to know, did you know Texas would be 9th largest economy in the world if it were a nation? And that Texas was #1 in job creation in 2022? Or that Texas was named the nation's best state for business for the 19th consecutive year? Let's break that down. Did you know that big, huge state of Texas, the largest state in the continental United States, the only state larger than Texas is that purchase we made from Russia called Alaska. And do you know, Egberto, that it is the 9th largest economy in the world? Well, I mean, if you had the amount of land that Texas has, the natural resources that Texas has, you would kind of think that Texas should be a big economy all in its own right. But secondly, that you mentioned that it's number 9. Well, I can say, California more than doubled you up because California is numero 4. California is the 4th largest economy in the world. And it doesn't have twice the population of Texas, but it's twice as good because it's the 4th largest economy in the world. California is. So if you want to look at numbers like that, Brother Eric, you guys like to put down California, right? But California seems to be doing fine because it's the what again? While Texas is only the 9th largest economy with a huge mass of land, with a huge ganado, with a huge cattle business, with a huge oil resources and everything else. And it only made it to number 9, while California made it to number 4. Come on, man. And now about Texas being good for businesses. Corporations always seek places where they have the least amount of taxes to pay, where they don't have to give health care and all these things to their workers, because if they don't have to do all those things, they can make more profits for their shareholders. So bragging that Texas has been rated number 1 for business, when in Texas we don't have the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, when Texas has the largest population of uninsured people in the country, when Texas has, except for higher education for its regular students, a lousy educational system. Let's be clear. You are right, Eric. Texas is great for business because business does little to invest in the people of Texas. So therefore, it is great for business. It's just not all that good for the rest of us. It's great for business. It's just not great for people. Now, let's go to something else, right? Texas, if it wanted to be a great state, it could. But it requires it to turn blue. It requires progressive management. If you realize, and I have this video somewhere, I'll play it some other time. If you want states that do the best for their citizens, it's not red states. All the things that governors in red states claim that they want for their people, the people in red states, in blue states, already have it. And Texas doesn't even want it all that good for them. So be careful when we start doing comparative analysis state by state by state, because red states come out looking pretty darn bad. Red states come out looking terrible. And why are businesses moving to red states? Because again, they develop themselves in blue states. They get the intellect from blue states. And after they've developed a good business model, they move to Texas. But let me tell you better, because it's so bad on Texans. When they're doing their hiring, the positions of consequences of intellect, etc., that really builds that company. You think they can get from the pool of Texans? No, they bring those people in. So all Texas is used for is the antiseptic slave labor that we provide them. So they come to Texas, they pay cheap labor, they don't give health care, they don't do all the good things good companies would want to do for the citizenry. Yes, Texas is probably the best state for business. 19 years in a row, 19 years without health care, 19 years without a whole lot of stuff we could use as a state. Thank you for pointing that up, Eric, to give us opportunity to tell how greatly evil is all the Republicans who control our state. Because their control of our state is going to be the demise of our state. Thank you. Great point. Let's see. Eric says, Egberto, you got your political shirt on today as opposed to your corporate shirt from Lifetime Fitness. As soon as I'm done with my morning show, Eric, I jump on the spinner. Got to try to stay healthy, try to best I can. Could still drop dead tomorrow, but I try to stay healthy. Michael Rodney says, hello, Netroots. Michael, I'll be broadcasting from Netroots beginning on Thursday. I do all the setup in Chicago on Wednesday. This is a setup in my workout room that I'm doing to make sure that I have all the parts together to have a broadcast. And you guys, my wonderful listeners and watchers right now, you guys are ensuring that I have the basics set up correctly. Of course, it'll look prettier when I get it out there in Chicago with all the banners, etc., that we have. And don't forget, you can still support us by going to, because we're way off our support level, you can always go to politicsdoneright.com/NN23. Nancy23. politicsdoneright.com/NN23. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric says, looks like your NAC friends are making waves and slowing the flood money that has time into it. So I don't know. You're incorrect about that, but what can we say? 82247 says, sending cluster bombs to Ukraine will make the war deadlier. Yes, it would. Michael Ronin says, Egberto, don't worry about it. Just a video that I figure you might enjoy later. Thank you, brother. I will enjoy it later then. Eric Hayes says, it's the U.S. entertainment policy with partner countries, Japan and UK and Australia and the Philippines pushing China. Yes, it is. And, you know, I don't know why it is that we have to play this game, who has bigger balls, right? We have to we can't let China dominate the South Pacific, the China Pacific or the Pacific seas, right? And China built an island out of nothing and so that it could claim more territorial waters in the South China Sea, and it drives us crazy, and we try to get an alliance with Japan and Australia and all these. I'll be honest with you. I think it is crap, right? I honestly do. This stuff about having to be world dominant, etc. I think we need to rethink. We need to rethink this. We could spend so much less on war if all these countries didn't think they had to be playing the domination game, right? And the truth of the matter is, I think as leaders in the domination game in the world, we actually attract other countries to do the same. Do you think a country really loves to build an aircraft carrier and to also have to man that aircraft carrier and support it? There are many other ways if you want to kind of enforce yourself on another country, you can do it. But, I mean, why? So I see what you're saying. WTF is idiot Biden doing by sending cluster bombs to Ukraine? I spoke about that this morning on my show. I think it's amazing how America has the ability. We have that arcane ability to suspend our morality when it suits us. Again, we have that canny ability to suspend our morality when we see fit. But you know, if other people suspend their morality, it's the end of the world, right? We had no moral quorums killing 10,000 Panamanians during the attack to get Manuel Antonio Noriega. We wanted to kidnap one guy, Manuel Antonio Noriega. We wanted to take him out of his country and bring him to the United States for trial, for financing and selling drugs to the United States. He was just being a capitalist. You know, suppose somebody goes ahead and come and try to get us for selling ALAR in other countries. Suppose they did that, right? Come on, folks. We gotta grow up. We gotta grow up. Mike Cisak says FBI knew that Hunter Abibiam laptop was real. 2019 RS Blower says. I think you just got debunked, Mike Cisak, by Ridge, the guy that Bridge MCP just brought. So you can keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. We have the forensics. We have the forensics, the data, the truth. Keep on dreaming. You've just been conned. Your people conned you. The question is, will you, Mike Cisak, remain following your people, right? Or are you going to finally say, well, Egberto, politics done right Bridge MCP, Politics Done Right, opened my eyes that these people were really trying to take advantage of us. And then we can all break bread and realize that many of us at some time in our lives have been had. Okay, Berto, Hunter has privilege with classified documents and interior to the White House. This is the prop. Oh boy, oh boy. He does not have security clearance, okay? Well, let's go back. You guys, it's been debunked. You can keep on your dead horse. It's been debunked. Washington Examiner is a pure source. I mean, it's a joke. That's what it is, always been. AC Rodriguez says, I was going to say that. LOL, with all that land, they should be doing a lot more. Thank you, AC Rodriguez. You see, we're a huge, I don't think people understand how big our state is. You start at one end of the state and you still have to go 1,000 miles to the other end of the state. It's crazy. I've driven it several times, you know. Mary E. Martin, amen, Egberto. Hunter Biden is a private citizen, and his laptop was private property, and anything about it must be treated as such. Exactamente, Mary Martin, you nailed it. All right. Eric says, California is a POC over-regulated and driving people away that loves. Again, forget, you can say whatever you want. California has the 4th largest economy. Punto y final. Texas is number 9. California doesn't have twice the amount of people of Texas, so it shouldn't be that much ahead of Texas. Come on now. All right, let's see. Eric Hayes, California taking out his ass again about California. Bree says Texas is number 8 in economy, number 35 in best states overall. Imagine that. Para ver, ¿qué más tengo aquí? Mike C says Texas had to turn red state in order for people to want to come to the state. If it doesn't take turn in blue. Oh my God, it's going to be great because all the people who come into the state of Texas are people coming from blue states who've made a lot of money, and they've said, I can hold on to a bit more of my dollars if I move to Texas, because Texas is going to allow me to screw their population and stay wealthy. Jane McDaniel says, hi, Egberto, I do not text. Jane McDaniel, if you don't text, you can always email me, kpft@politicsdoneright.com or info@politicsdoneright.com. Bridge MCP says Texas and Florida secede. If you're so disappointed, secede, people. Michael Rodney says, what exactly do conservatives think they have with the laptop? Evidence of corruption? Check the timeline. Robert Hunter Biden was a private citizen then, and so was Joe Biden, out of office at the time. Yep, I know what I said. Banking on your name isn't a crime if you're not in office at that time. Thank you. Thank you. Eric Hazel says, Texas is a great, best state. No, it's not. No, it's not. I love Texas. I live in Texas. I love it. But I want to make it better because right now it isn't. Daniel Edo says, LOL, like Berta just told you, Texas is just populated by idiots. All the smart people are imported to exploit the dummies. Well, if the shoe fits, I didn't say all, but you know what? The people who continue to vote the Republicans into office, knowing that they're going to kill themselves, knowing that they won't get the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, knowing that their taxes are going to go up, knowing that their school system continue to suck, knowing all these things, and you continue, knowing that the grid is about to fall apart, knowing that they're trying to make it more difficult for renewable energy, knowing all these things about Texas and about the Republicans who run Texas right now, and you still vote for them? I guess your description, it's not me calling them that, you did. But I'm not going to say you're wrong for those who vote for these guys into office. But I'm saying we all have the potential, the possibility to redeem ourselves. At one time, at any given time, I was that idiot. I was that idiot in many different times, and I was that idiot when I was a sexist. I was that idiot when I was a homophobe. I was that idiot at a time. But the thing about it is, the thing about being an idiot or being uninformed or being ignorant is that you have the choice of educating yourself. You have the choice of coming out of that fog. You have the choice to make it better. I chose that. I am asking my fellow Texans to do the same. All right, let's see what else we got here. Mary E. Martin says, Eric Hayes, I am a native Californian and am very proud of our economy, our conservation of our natural landscape, and our inclusiveness. We need taxes to be the fourth largest economy in the world. You know, what they don't understand, and I try to teach this a lot of times, Mary, and it goes like this. Taxes, when the wealthy pay taxes, and I don't believe there should be super wealthies anyway, but when the wealthy pays taxes, right, because nobody earns that. Nobody earned $1 billion. Nobody earned $100 million. You earned a few millions? Yes. Now, when they pay their doable taxes, because it goes into hands of those who are going to immediately spend, it means that the economic system gets that much more energy. It turns around. We got to learn that, right? I try to point that out. It's very important. It's very important. All right, let's see. Bridge MCP says blue states support red states. Yes, that's a fact. You know, these are all facts that cannot be refuted. Absent the blue states, red states would be even more poor than they are right now in the aggregate. Let's see what else we got here. AC from Mike Cisak, AC Rodriguez. You might check the Census Bureau because they show massive flows from blue states to red states. Again, whatever flows they show, I've already given you the reason, the rationale behind it. All right, let's see what else we got here. We should have some American exceptionalism. Is that what you're saying, American exceptionalism? Be careful with that word. What does American exceptionalism mean? Please tell me. I don't know. We get in our way with all the current fires the administration causes. Really, name me one. Well, you can name me a few because there are a few things that Biden is doing I don't agree with. But I mean, in the aggregate, the man is doing a pretty damn good job compared to what I thought would have occurred with a Biden administration. So I am not unhappy with Biden at all. I'm unhappy about cluster bombs. I'm unhappy about not really pushing the Supreme Court. I'm unhappy about certain things. But altogether, I don't think progressives are extraordinarily upset at all. Neither is AOC, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Washington that's running for Senate. I can't remember her name. I'm talking about the super progressives in Congress right now. So no, not at all. All right, let's see what else we got here. You guys are really sending me a lot of mail, and I love it because it gives me a time to talk, right? The suspenders of morality are almost all the progressives in Congress. You do own that, right? No. The people who suspend morality are generally Republicans and neoliberals. They talk about having the culture of life. We believe in the sanctity of life, yet they believe in the death penalty at all costs. Yet they believe in not supporting kids as they need assistance as they grow up. They care about that kid before it is born. But after the kid is born, to hell with that. We don't want to support that, give that mother subsidies so she can go to work and go to work because, again, our pay is so lousy. Many a times, those people who go to work still need some assistance because los pendejos lo están tomando todo. They are taking it all. So no, the people who suspend morality are generally most Republican politicians and a large percentage of the neoliberal Democrats. But the progressives of all parties are general, and we still have a few Republican progressives. They're mostly hiding, but there are a few. And you know, I do revere my progressive Republicans who are the ones very responsible for getting the Civil Rights Act passed and a few others, right? See, I'm honest. It was in the olden days, the olden day Democrats from the South who are now Republicans that wanted all the bad things to continue in this country. Hope you guys know that. I think you do. All right, para ver dónde vamos a hacer. Mike C. Egberto. Leftists are in denial of the Biden crime family. Oh my God, I know we are in such denial. And you are not in, and we are in denial of the Biden crime family, but you are so happy with the Holy Ghost of the Trumps because they're an honorable family. They're such an honorable family. I get it. I get it, sir. Do you know how that really comes across, my brother? Do you know how? AC Rodriguez responds to Mike Cisak, and he says, Mike Cisak, LOL, please explain to me how Sleepy Joe can be Tony Soprano in the same time span. Either he's Tony Montana in Scarface, or he's borderline dementia and belongs in a home. You can't have it both ways. You know, yeah, they can, because again, you have to believe in that one can think critically, sir. Okay? You got to think that way. All right, let's see what else we got here. Peggy, Ginny Thomas. Paul Fleming nailed it. That's all he just had to use one word. Ginny Thomas. Thank you, Paul. Short. Sometimes short is sweet. Peggy Lopez is in the house. Hello, Peggy. Hi, all. Mike Cisak says, AC Rodriguez, keep up with the news. Confirm that Joe was there. Oh, my God. All right, let's see what else we got from Daniel Lado says, AC Rodriguez, more lack of logic or intentional misdirection. Nobody thinks he was both at the same time. The sleepy part is new. Nobody is saying he's a don. He's a skimmer. He trades favor for money. Tick-tock, tick-tock. I think you mean Donald Trump. Come on, man. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Stop trying to project. Peggy Lopez says, I'm in favor of California leaving the U.S. This would allow for all Californians to have health care and homes. We would no longer have to support the rest states. That's a good one, Peggy. That's a good one. That's a good one. Take care of your country first, then others, as you say you should be worrying about other countries. I do worry about other countries. We don't live in an isolated environment. Please remember that. And now from, what else do we have? Turkey agrees to back Sweden to become a part of NATO. I saw that, and it keeps ringing in my thing. Daniel Little says, whoa, you forgot you said about Ukraine cluster bombs 7 minutes ago. Nah, that's just for your deflection when your hypocrisy is identified. I think I've been very consistent. In fact, I did a program this morning disagreeing with our release of cluster bombs, where I spoke about selective morality. And I should make a clip out of that selective morality rant that I gave this morning, just like I did a clip out of the socialist clip I did today that I'm about to play. All right, what else have we got here? What else have we got here? What else have we got here? Bridge MCP says Biden is 2 years older than Trump. I think it's 4 years, isn't it? But I could be wrong. And healthier and empathetic, not a narcissist. And he speaks English. He speaks English. All these right-wing Republican politicians that like to tell folks to speak English or whatever, they should talk to Trump by teaching them English first, right? All right, last message. Paul Fleming wants war. Nobody wants war. Russia is using cluster bombs. Then I agree that Ukraine should use cluster bombs as well. Hey, when it's all said and done, when your marketeer Tories send people out there to find those bombs that did not explode, war, it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. I think there are other ways, my dear brother Fleming. I think this is where what I said this morning. Selective morality can hurt in the long run. And I think that is where we're heading, selective morality. You know, I mean, we use the same morality to selective morality to drop the atomic bomb. I mean, it was like, oh, look how many soldiers would have gotten killed if we invaded Tokyo, right? Or invaded Nagasaki, Hiroshima, or wherever we would have invaded. But in the process, we killed hundreds of thousands of Japanese. So right there, we showed, well, what lives have value? Civilian lives, or military lives, or even did we need to? Well, whatever the case is, we are the only country that has ever used an atomic weapon on other human beings. So we should be very cautious when we are trying to talk to all these other countries trying to develop a bomb that we used when we wanted absolute victory. I want you guys to understand that. We are the only country on the planet that showed it had the heart, the moral, in my opinion, the moral depravity to use an instrument like that against human beings, and at the same time come and talk about other countries and how other countries are moral or immoral, whichever one you want to look at. I think that is why many people do not take us many times seriously, because we're big, we're strong, and nobody can fight us in the aggregate, right? But remember, that may not always be the case. Again, sometimes being powerful doesn't mean being powerful with guns and bombs and everything else. I hope we realize that. And whenever you're talking about Iran and nuclear weapons, not Saudi Arabia, remember also on Israel, nuclear weapons, on France and all these other countries, when you are talking these issues, please remember, let's look in the mirror. The only thing that we know for a fact is that we had the gall to drop that weapon on human beings. No other country on this planet has proven that they would do that. Now, we may say because they're scared that, if they did it, what the United States would do. But again, it's an absolute fact. Only one country has ever used that thing on human beings. All right, I want to play the video. There's a caller who called in to me actually. I'm an American-hating socialist, and I didn't quite answer because we're running out of time last week. So what I did is I did answer him today after Jack Van Weber brought it up and gave me the opening to do so by actually reminding me about it. So here we go. I want to play that for you, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Last week, a man came on and was talking about socialism as a bad thing, and lately socialism has got a real bad rap, and social programs are what keeps the corporations from running over the people. It's the stopgap, it's the safety. So social is not a bad word.
Social is not a bad word. I love that you said that, and I hope the person that was speaking about that calls in, because again, I'm refraining from just outright using the word socialism because of the connotation that it has. The thing about it is this: I believe in free enterprise 100%. Free enterprise is freedom, the ability of people to go ahead and create their own companies, create their own means of production, go out there and sell things. I believe in all of that. The big problem that we have, Jack, is we have allowed the conflation of what capitalism means and what freedom and free enterprise means. In fact, we have allowed folks to say that freedom, democracy is capitalism, as opposed to saying freedom and democracy is free enterprise, the enterprise from us all. And that conflation is what allows us to be pilfered by the corporations. And that is what people have. And that is why, again, we hear that nobody wants to talk, or rather, the powers that be, you'd hear come out against critical thought. They're wrapping critical thought into critical race theory, because what they are hoping to do is ring that silly racial carnal bell in people's, so that they don't think about the things that really matter, because they're so concerned about that idiotic thing called race. And one of the things that I hope to do with our programs or programming or attitudes, etc., is to let folks detach themselves from that silly structure and start looking at the economic structure that we're under, which was designed to just keep a few in power, a few financially really, really able, with all the rest being peons. Folks don't get it. Slavery never ended. It just lost its pigmentation. That's all. But it never ended. And folks can, it's hard when you see nice cars and big buildings and great streets and all these things. It is great to see these things and then say, oh, but you're enslaved. And folks are, no, I'm not. I can go ahead and do all these things that I want to do. Then you say, by the way, aren't you in debt? Don't you have to do X, Y, Z to survive? Isn't there a better way? And Jack, the answer is there is a better way if we will allow ourselves to lose the control of the few who keep telling us that this is the way things need to go. So, Jack, I'm glad that you started that way. And I hope the caller who said that, because I remembered it distinctly, he called out the word Venezuela. I love when folks want to talk about, anytime they say, do you want us to be Venezuela? That's what socialism does. Well, I don't know what you want to call the economic system that I think is we all want. But it's not what Venezuela did, neither what Hugo Chavez, Nicolai Maduro, or any one of these guys. By the way, for those who know, those are Hugo Chavez was the one who started the Bolivarian Revolution in Venezuela, and after he died, Nicolas took it over. Nicolas Maduro took it over, and this is repeated throughout the other countries that America like to use as not America. Republicans and many neoliberal Democrats like to use as, this is not what if you don't have this evil economic system that hurts people in the United States and many parts of Western Europe, not the Scandinavian countries, then what you get is Venezuela. What you get is Nicaragua. What you get is Cuba. They don't tell you, of course, that we do stifle Cuba. Cuba has some, with all the stifling that we do, Cuba actually have a good healthcare system, and they do come up with a lot of drugs that that actually work and exported in other places that work. But that's for another day. But again, we don't want Cuba. We don't want Venezuela. We don't want Nicaragua. We don't need to have any of that to have a great free enterprise economic system in America. Why did Jack get me off on this monologue? Jack, why did you get me off on this monologue?
Well, because this is the crazy stuff I think about, and the dots I try to connect, and I don't have the technical capabilities to do research, but I know what's going on out there, and I just try to connect the dots and keep things from being passed over too much.
We're hijacking your show.
I like, but you know what? I want to thank you because that gave me the opportunity to give those words. I think that we need to reinforce those words over and over again, Jack. I was only playing when I said, "Why did you make me do that?" Because I was kind of like happy to do it. But anyhow, so anyway, folks, I hope you listened to that short narrative there, but let's not allow folks to fool us. Let's not allow folks to keep us separate. Let's not allow folks to have you hate your brother and your sister. Think about that person you think you hate right now. Mitigate that hate and things will get better.
We mitigate that hate and things will get better. Anyway, look on my screen. Netroots Nation, we're heading there. We take off on Tuesday. No. We take off on Wednesday early, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday early to Chicago, and then we'll set up. That is sort of how the setup is going to look. I had to redo a few things here. If you notice that we're here in my workout room with this studio here. Look, PDR again is on the coveted radio row. PDR is again on the coveted radio row to broadcast events and record interviews. I was one of the first to interview a wide-eyed, up-and-coming Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez there and told her she would beat Congressman Joseph Crowley. She did. I will interview between 25 and 50 plus politicians, activists, progressive thinkers. We break national news yearly at Netroots Nation, and we'll be doing some live broadcasts as well. Your sponsorship covers upgraded podcast equipment, mics, etc., like these, but this one is an older one. Airfare, hotel, transportation, and incidentals. Every higher donation level gets all the previous levels as well. You know, I need to get these things off of that credit card. You know, those credit card rates are now ridiculous with the feds doing all they can to hurt the middle class. And don't worry, we're doing our job to kind of throttle the system where it needs to be. Your sponsorship covers upgraded, or rather, all donors will have their names, unless anonymous, of course, in the credit section of every video interview in the YouTube description of the video as supporters and co-producers, and listed on a special NN23 Netroots Nation 23 page at politicsdoneright.com. That's anybody who gives or support us, it goes there. Secondly, those who give $100 or more, donors may choose to have us create a full page, searchable page on politicsdoneright.com. Of course, we have to check before we put whatever you ask us to put up there to make sure it's not copyrighted, etc., etc., etc. And by the way, all people, whatever level you give, you actually get the previous levels as well, whatever we give for the previous level. Anybody who gives $200 or more, they also get an embroidered Politics Done Right polo shirt like this. And you get, of course, everything everybody else gets. Now, the first 20 donors of $35 or more, I'm changing that. Anybody who gives $35 or more, I'll make sure to give a copy of the book, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors, signed copy, along with our bumper sticker. And the bumper sticker is in my room. I didn't bring it out here with me, but I'll include the bumper sticker as well. So please ensure progressive independent media is funded to inform and amplify in a manner that makes a real difference. Let me tell you, folks, one of the differences between the right and the left, the right is very well funded, and the funding that they give, you know, we give our brother Mike Cisak and a lot of the conservatives a hard time. We give them a hard time, yes. But as it turns out, right, there are folks who invested quite a bit of money, quite a bit, to misinform these folks. And they did it perfectly. They did the psychological analysis of who targeted messages work with, etc., right? The only option progressives have to counteract it is not mainstream media, who depends on many of the people who are there convincing these people that Medicare for all or healthcare for all is a bad thing, or that somehow you can have a profit in certain areas and somehow it's more efficient. Things that mathematically makes no sense, these people are willing to believe. Why? These are messages that these people get in a manner that meets them where they are. And it's very convincing to them. Unless we continue to do what we're doing here, and by the way, we're supporting, making sure, we want a lot of folks doing this independent media thing. We have a lot doing it right now. I found out recently that my mother watches like 2 or 3 different programs like this from the independent media folk that's there helping her fact base, getting her information, right? But for us to be able to continue doing this, we have to be. And, you know, I was talking to Neil Aquino a few days ago. I want to play that interview on Wednesday. we have to be funded if we are to continue doing this kind of stuff so that we can make a difference. Because if, all of us go out and get our Starbucks and get all our coffee, etc., and those of us in this business say, hey, can you, let's say, give us a coffee or two a month too, we just need a lot of people giving a coffee or two a month, right? Because if we can do that, we can keep doing this. We can actually get assistance in cutting videos. I just got an email today from a company that says, hey, we can help you cut your video with AI. In other words, so that we can make the clips, etc. And I said, okay, let me see what it's all about, right? Another person looked at me and said, why don't you get a personal assistance from Fiverr? I'm having these two thoughts about, well, I really want to try to give, if I'm doing something, do it the right way. So, I mean, there are a lot of things going around progressive media that needs the support of people. I'm saying this, it's self-serving, but it's real and it's needed. So please remember, support programs like Politics Done Right, Daily Kos, the TYT, all these programs that get minimal support in our system really, really needs the support of progressives and conservatives. We get quite a bit of support from our conservative listeners, readers, writers, etc. I'm surprised it's probably over 25% or so. So the thing about it is, that is what we need to survive. So I'm asking you here to please remember that when you are spending on coffee and cable news and all of that, that there's also another place that I think would be wise to spend your hard-earned dollars. And as you can see, we do all of this stuff on the cheap. politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support is how you can really help do what we're doing. Help us do what we're doing. We need to stop a lot of our, we can't do it, and just go ahead and do it. Anyhow, that was an impromptu monologue, actually, just an impromptu monologue. Anyhow, let me see what else we got here. Para ver. It looks like somebody left a long message in there. Pardon that rant at the end. There's probably not enough time for Egberto to read it out. Actually, there is enough time to read it out. Let me read it here. Michael Rondon says, the difference between left and right. Republican plan to power. Figure out which groups American conservatives would be eager kicking down on so they can feel better about themselves, while the filthy rich and their mega corporations bribe politicians, corrupt government, deprive social services, degrade environments, and take all the bank. To be clear, Republicans care about ruling us. They don't care about leading our nation to a more prosperous future. They don't care about consent of the governed. Republicans don't care if we, the people, suffer and die needlessly and preventably, so long as they keep money and power. What do the left want with political power? To make a government that prioritizes the needs of the people and the environment. You give actual leftist power, we'll heavily invest in infrastructure and government programs to uplift our people out of poverty. We'd give everyone health care. We'd raise living wages to living wages. We'd make sure young people aren't stuck with a lifetime of student debt. We'd make sure the justice system is fair. We'd ensure cleaner environments, etc., etc. We see the problem with our nation, and we want to make things tangibly better. I truly hope you all see this. I could not have said that any better, Mr. Rudnin. Did you write it? If you did, good job. Good job, good job, good job. All right, let's see. No Wi-Fi in the park, Melanie Keelan says. Well, Melanie, from Barcelona, Spain, at least you're here with us now. Late. Love to all, and you have our love as well, Melanie Keelan. AC Rodriguez says, Egberto, would you consider playing and discussing any of the Bo of the Fifth Column videos on YouTube for the right-wingers. Here, it would be great discussion. I don't know how I can, maybe I can get some clips out of him, but he has a whole media operation behind him with consultants and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if he would, Robert Reich doesn't mind me using his stuff. He tells me to go ahead and use it as I will. And other people that do this tell me to use it as I will. Let's see. Tom C., thank you for supporting our trip to, being one of the supporters of our trip to Chicago. We have a lot in here. Tom C., Bridge MCP, Rodnin, Bruce, Norman. I know I'm forgetting most of you, but we have great supporters in this room for all that we do. So I want to thank you. Just got in from sailing. Lots of gusty posts here on chat. Huh. An even keel requires tacking on two sides of the boat, left port and right starboard. A windy conversation helps headway. Yep. Was that a limerick? Did I mess it up? Because you always come with these limericks, and I sit back and let me see if it was a limerick. It says, just got from sailing. Lots of gutsy posts here in the chat. An even keel requires tacking on two sides, left of the boat, left port, start. No, I don't think it's a limerick. I was just kind of getting word about that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Mike C. Sex says, Maywood, the problem is other countries due to the people voting in socialist dictators who put in progressive policies, making the dictator and family rich. Oh, Lord. That is what lack of critical thinking brings you. No limerick today. Working on one, though. Oh, and you know I love your limericks, man. You got to post them on the portion of the site that we have all relegated for your stuff, man. All right, let's see what else we got here. Daniel Lado, LOL. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. It's the end of the show. And I mean, I'm having so much fun, I didn't even notice. Anyhow, folks, look, thank you so kindly for being here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. See you tomorrow. And then the day after, I don't know if we're going to have to do a tape show or not. We'll let you know. But anyway, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.